Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's updates to what's going on, news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Also make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips. I have a special guest today, Steph On The Pedal, who is going to be talking about how her experiences as a Uber and Lyft driver have shifted in all of this, and also how you can continue making money even though Uber and Lyft may not be so busy anymore. So let's get right into it. So I wanted to give a welcome to Steph from Steph On The Pedal, who also has a YouTube channel, and she has been doing Uber and Lyft at least up until very recently, like a lot of people really have. And she joins me today, so I want to say thank you, Steph. And for anybody else out there who hasn't checked out her channel, link will be in the description below. I will also try to put a little thing up here for her channel so you can go check it out. And also what's really cool about Steph is not only is she doing different gigs, but she's also a female. So all the ladies out there who are sick of looking at us guys, you can go and get a great female's perspective as well too. So
Cool.
Thank you, Steph, for coming on.
Thanks, Chris. Glad to be here, of course.
Yes. So let's talk really kind of about what's been going on. Obviously, you started with Uber and Lyft, right? Both?
I did, yes.
Okay, and then kind of if you want to just go through the process of that, and then we'll kind of go into what's been going on in today's world.
Sure. So Uber and Lyft has always been kind of a part-time thing for me. And I've driven more or less depending on what else is happening in my life, but that's probably irrelevant. Anyways, as things started to happen around us, I decided that it probably wouldn't be the best idea for me to keep driving with either Uber or Lyft. So I know a lot of people are still out there doing it. Me personally, I feel like it's not that it's just risky, but it's also not worth my time because I feel like, I mean, it's not consistent at the moment, at least not in my market. I'm in Denver. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the rides aren't there. There aren't people going places. And we're currently at like a stay-at-home order. So I don't see the point. And I felt like I really had to try something else. So I actually did. I started out, I signed up for everything that I possibly could. But unfortunately, most things in my area are on some type of wait list or, like UberEATS. I wasn't already signed up for that. I did try to get on with UberEATS, but they weren't, I don't know. I'm still kind of in limbo with them. So I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe they aren't taking on new people, or I'm not entirely sure as far as that goes. But same Postmates, just literally everything, Grubhub, DoorDash. But like I said, most of those are on a wait. Instacart, though. So Instacart is what I've kind of landed on. So the only two I was actually able to get through with was Instacart and Postmates. And I haven't tried Postmates yet. But I have been doing Instacart, and full disclosure, not for very long. I've been doing Instacart for a little over a week at this point. But I like it a lot. I will say the first few days of me doing it, I didn't necessarily love it, just because there's a huge learning curve, and right now it's a very hard time to be learning Instacart. But still, you can. It's doable and it's consistent. And I mean,
now that raises a point. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're totally good.
But obviously many people are new at Instacart right now. There's so many people who are signing up for it. They're looking for, I think, up to 300,000 more people, at least in North America over the next little bit of time. So yeah, since you just started really in the thick of things, now I've also signed up for Instacart. I've done a few prior to all this happening.
Okay.
I'll give a one tip. And
Yeah.
then if you want to give some tips, because being brand new
Sure.
at it and some learning curve as well.
Let's hear it.
One tip that I have is start at the market or grocery store that you know the best.
Yeah.
Because you're able to choose with what batch you want to take. Make sure
Sure.
it's the one you know, because you're going to be much more familiar with where the products are, what is around. And unfortunately, with so many products kind of being out of the area or out of where you know, sometimes other stores, you might have to be searching for them all over the place and not really know where they
Yeah.
are. So that's at least my tip. And then Steph, if you want to go into some of the tips that you've had as well, at least in trying to do the learning curve on
Right.
something that's completely so different.
Yeah. So I did start with a grocery store that I kind of knew. But what I figured out over doing this for a few days is that the grocery store that's close to me, there are mainly smaller batches from that store. So I'm kind of in like a middle to lower middle class area. And I think, you know, I may be totally off base with this, but from what I've seen so far, it seems more worth my while to drive to maybe more of like an upper middle class area where there just seems to be larger batches and larger tips also. But I wouldn't recommend taking larger batches at first. So I would definitely start with the smaller ones. Think like 20 items or less within that batch, because I mean, you're just going to be so overwhelmed if you try to start with, you know, a batch with 100 items or something of that nature.
And then trying to change from going to 100 and drop it down to 40 because you can't find them all.
Right.
And then trying to talk with the customer to see if they want something different.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually, I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, I try not to talk to customers because I think it just takes too much time. And that's maybe bad advice. But I mean, I have a message that I send at the beginning that basically says, hey, keep an eye on your app. I'm going to be making changes and replacements. And it's most efficient if you just approve, or if you don't approve of those, just straight through the app rather than go through chat.
There you go. Now that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think that
definitely
really saves some time, because I mean, the whole point, or the whole, you're trying to be as quick as possible, obviously, so your hourly rate is as high as it possibly can be. The longer you take, the less money you're going to end up making.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched Rideshare Revolution, but he's been talking about doing some Instacart stuff, and he's like, I suck at it, and it's like, well, it's just a learning curve. It's a lot different than saying, hey, are you whoever, and picking them up and taking to where they got to go.
Right.
So it's it's finding everything. So now, how have you seen doing Uber and Lyft prior to this whole pandemic and everything going on, to going to Instacart, and how much have you seen in terms of what you're making before to what you're making now? Have you seen some difference in pay? Is it pretty well at the offset in the difference? At least kind of learning how to do Instacart a little bit more effectively than, just starting out where everybody's going to kind of be up in the air. What kind of changes have you seen?
So I will say the first few days, maybe not even few, I think the first 2 days that I started doing Instacart, I was like, oh gosh, this is crazy. I am not going to make any money doing this. I don't know if this is going to be worth my while. I was sitting at like $15, $16 per hour, and that's really not enough for me. But as I kept going, and I mean, this is not a long period of time. We're talking like 5-6 days. As I've been learning it, my hourly rate has increased with each day that I've done it. Because, I mean, just like with any job, as you learn it, you're going to get better at it.
Yep.
So, I mean, the last time I drove, I was at $23 per hour. So, I mean, that's a big difference from $15 per hour. If I'm comparing it to driving for Uber or Lyft, one amazing thing about Instacart is that you aren't putting the miles on your car, you weren't spending that money in gas. So that's something you have to take into consideration when you're driving for either the rideshare companies, that your gas, you're deducting that straight from your pay. Each day that I've done Instacart, we're talking maybe 50 miles. So I'm thinking I'm spending like $4 in gas per day.
Okay,
So,
yeah. Now, are you just doing the shopping or are you delivering as well?
Full service.
Okay.
So shopping and delivering. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And that's a great point too, is a lot of the orders where you're, at least where the store is, it's relatively close to where you have to deliver, because most people are pretty good at going to the store themselves and have been doing it for many years. So they know, all right, well, I want to go to this store. And that's the one that they're putting in the app. Which is nice. And that cuts down a lot, especially on gas. When you're going just a couple miles down the road to drop off some groceries, it's just in the store, it can be a little bit of a hassle.
Yeah, sure.
So now, obviously being very new at it and doing it only about a week, have you seen your hourly rate go up from that 15, or is it at 15 about right now?
No, as I was saying before, I've seen with each day, my hourly rate is increasing. So the last time I drove, I was at 23 per hour. And, I had a $20 day and I think like a $21 hour per day. So I kind of expect, I'm sure there's a cap, but I kind of expect that I might be able to get even a little bit above that 23 per hour, just based off what I've heard other people say.
Yeah.
So,
Some of the ones that are coming in, when you see like a $40, $50, $60 order, and you can get that. And you're going to spend probably at least an hour in the store, if not a little bit more, but you divide that by the 2 hours it might take. That's still, $20 to $30 depending on the order, which is pretty nice. Plus a lot of people are tipping very well, which is even better.
Yes. My tips right now are they're close to 50% of my earnings on Instacart. My tips are.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing.
It's so different from Uber and Lyft, where you received a tip, you open it, and it's like $1 from like 3 days ago. So that is tremendously different, which is nice. So that's really good. The fact that you can also see the order before accepting it is really nice. Now, what's the holdup on Postmates? Just out of curiosity.
Honestly, well, I could go out and drive Postmates or drive. Yeah, it is drive. I could go out and do Postmates right now. I just honestly, I'm really liking Instacart. I really like Instacart. So I don't know. And it's so consistent that I don't feel the need to try to pick up something else, which I still might do it. But I don't know. I really like Instacart.
Yeah, and it's that is nice, because you're standing in line shopping groceries. You can throw the music on in the background, so you can just put earbuds in or something. It's nice. You're not dealing with dealing with the customers. Picking them up, they're talking your ear off. So it's definitely a nice little change up. Now here's the big question that I'll have too, is after all this whole thing is over, are you going to go back to Uber and Lyft, or are you going to stay at Instacart?
So I have thought about this. And, I can only speculate what Instacart's going to be like once everything returns to normal. And I don't really have high hopes for it. So maybe they will have some new users, because a lot of new customers are coming on just because they don't want to go to the grocery store right now. Now, maybe some of those same people will stay on, but I'm not sure. See, I never saw what Instacart was like before all of this, so I don't know how consistent it was. From what I've heard, it seems like it's quite a bit better now than it was before. So,
I think there's. Oh, go ahead. I think I heard something like 300% increase from before all this to now, and that number I heard probably was at least a week or so ago. And I'm sure it's only going to go up as they put more stores in, open in new areas, and continue going on further.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because I was thinking about it. I'm like, because I started doing Amazon Flex. I started doing,
Oh, I signed up for that too.
yeah.
I have that.
So to me, and I like that concept. I like the way it is because what's really cool is, yeah, you can go pick up packages and then, you just drive around and deliver them. So nobody's talking, and what's really cool is you can have somebody else with you. So if you
Right.
want to have, your significant other,
Yeah.
kid.
I just watched a video maybe an hour ago where you said that. I
Okay.
just heard you say that. No, it's fine. You can say it again. I just thought it
Yeah,
was
no, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So like if you have a significant other that you just want to hang out with and that, you guys can go out and have a good time, delivering packages when everybody else is sheltered at home. And it's really nice because you're getting out, you're getting some fresh air
Yes.
and able
I agree with
to
that.
enjoy some time. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like that. I like that concept. And then again, I've been doing Uber and Lyft for quite a while now. I've been doing Uber for a little over 4 years, I think now. I
Okay.
think it's going on 5 years actually.
Yeah, that's quite a
And
bit longer than me.
yeah. And then,
I haven't even hit a year yet.
okay. So yeah, Brand is still new to the game.
Yeah,
To a
definitely.
point. And then Lyft, Lyft I didn't sign up for until, I think it's going on 3 years. This summer, so it's been a few years, and I actually had to take a break. And it's funny because I had signed up for Instacart, I signed up for DoorDash, I signed up for Amazon Flex earlier than this whole thing because I needed to
Good for
take a
you.
break from yeah, I mean, it was lucky, but I had to take a break from doing Uber and Lyft for a little bit because I just was worn out. I was not
Sure.
happy, just dealing with customers in the car all the time, trying to be on point all the time.
It can be taxing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And so I had to take a little bit of a break, and then I started coming back to that after I was doing a couple of these other things for a little bit. And once I came back, everything started going haywire. And it's weird
Right.
because my market is somewhat busier still. I still see surge on the Uber app. When I actually go on, I've limited the amount of time that
That's
I've gone
interesting.
driving.
Oh, because you're in New York,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So my
Okay.
market is Buffalo, and I'm usually in Buffalo or the surrounding suburbs, sometimes up in Niagara Falls. But yeah, in our area, it's still very strong, even though we're on the other side of the state in New
Interesting.
York City.
Okay.
But yeah, there's still a lot of people trying to go around and get things
Huh.
done. And for me, at least, I take a lot of healthcare workers because I normally drive at night. So shift changes usually around 8 and also 11. So you'll
Right.
get the healthcare workers at that time. And then, just people going to and from places. But overall, yeah, it's dropped a lot. So yeah, it's nowhere near. And then it's funny, Instacart, I'll pop up. It'll right now during Instacart, they're giving you, I think it's a $3 per batch
Yes. Yeah.
bonus, which is
I plan
awesome.
on going out today for that.
Nice. And then I just pop it open. There's like 3, 4, 5 batches available at any time. And then within
So
like
consistent.
2 minutes, it's like 5 more pop up.
I
So for
know.
anybody who's still going out and doing orders or taking delivery, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like I said, because I asked you too, if you're offsetting your income at least somewhat, and hopefully other people are as well too, where they're seeing increases in, or at least not as much of a decrease as if they were just doing
Great.
Uber and Lyft overall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and it's,
I mean, definitely. Like, I honestly, I think I would fully switch over to Instacart if this demand continued at all after all of this was over. Because I mean, just being able to move around and not being stuck in a car all day. And I mean, the wear and tear that you put on your car with Uber and Lyft and the amount of money you spend on gas, especially with my car, I have to put premium gas in my car. So yeah, I think I would switch over to Instacart if it were still kicking off.
Well, hey, who knows? And that's the good thing. We'll kind of, I
Right.
guess, see. I think a lot of people who are using Instacart now as customers, I think they're going to see, wow, this is actually really easy where I can
Yeah.
not have to go to the store and they come to my house, and that's like really nice. But I mean, obviously if
Hmm.
you need something immediately, you're not going to get it immediately with Instacart. It's going to take
Right.
some time. But yeah, other than that, if you have enough where you kind of plan out, I think you're going to see a lot of people either shopping and picking up their groceries or even just dropping off. So maybe
Hmm.
the demand can stay. It'll be interesting to see.
I want to go back to what you just said, where if you order something through Instacart, you don't necessarily get it immediately.
Hmm.
I think that's true sometimes. I bet that's different per market too, because I have had some people that I know did uh, same day delivery where they just got it a couple hours after they ordered. So,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So,
that's
I mean,
pretty immediate.
oh yeah, some are, but a couple are a couple of days.
Days.
So
Yeah.
it can be quite a bit. Um,
Right.
I mean, it's good for us as shoppers and other people who are shopping because yeah, it's going to keep continuing to come in. But
Hmm.
yeah, it can be a little bit harder for the people who are actually out there needing the groceries. It might
Hmm.
take a little bit harder, and I'm hoping that they do prioritize. Maybe the elderly over other people. Even though I don't want to say like that, but it would be nice if they were doing something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely not happening, but
No, no, it's not. But I mean, like
right.
going forward, hopefully, because yeah, that would be nice. Because they're more at risk, unfortunately. So you want to
Hmm.
you want to see them stay in the house and hopefully help take care of them a little better. But
Right.
fortunately, and then there's one other thing that I wanted to bring up. Oh yeah, after all this is over, and once they give the go ahead for everything to reopen. I don't know if how your market is, but New York has been under kind of like the stay at home where they've ordered restaurants and bars to close except for takeout only and all
Yes.
that.
Same
Um,
here.
okay, so it's pretty much probably all over the country, at least at this point. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think Uber and Lyft is going to be like right after they say everything can reopen again?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that at all, but I bet it's going to be flooded.
Oh
That is a
yeah.
really good point. I really didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe I will do some Uber driving after this is that's so
yeah,
interesting.
it's funny because I was texting Dustin, maybe it was yesterday, the day before, and I'm like, "What do you think Uber and Lyft is going to be like after this is all over?" I'm like, I'm saying it's going to be something like New Year's because everybody's going to want to get out and do
Let's go.
something and go and drink and have a
Oh
party and have some
yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for anybody who may have seen some losses too when it comes in the grand scheme of things, and maybe you're averaging 23 an hour, maybe you're only getting 15, 18 an hour right
Yeah.
now. That weekend or that week, couple of weeks that everything goes back to normal may be so crazy that you recoup a significant portion of what happened before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's a good point. I
I
like
don't know.
that.
I'm hoping for that because that means it's going to be good and people get back
Right.
to normal and embrace it and are happy to get back to the normal. So,
Yes, definitely.
but
Cool.
yeah, I thinking that was. I just want to say thanks again for coming on, sharing your experiences on going from being an Uber and Lyft driver and now switching over to mainly Instacart and another gig, and kind of going with that and enjoying that a lot, and maybe even staying
Mm-hmm.
in that arena. I know if you know rideshare Lisa, she does mostly Instacart and then some DoorDash and
Don't actually know her. No.
okay, yeah, she's in upstate New York as well. She's a few hours away from me, but she does and talks about Instacart as well too,
Nice.
which is the primary thing that she's been doing. Does a little bit of Uber and Lyft, but it's kind of the opposite of what we used to do to um, being before this. So, any
Right.
last comments or anything that you wanted to share?
Make sure you check Chris's link down below if you're going to sign up for Instacart.
There you go. Yes, there are links in the description below for you to sign up to become an Instacart Shopper, DoorDash, and even if you want to try doing UberEATS if you haven't already, you can sign up for there. They do offer different bonuses depending on where you are, whether it's a sign-up bonus or bonus guarantee. So you can check that out. So thanks again, Steph, for saying that. But yeah, real quick, any last comment? Or anything you want to talk about your channel to get people to go over and
sure, come
subscribe.
see me over at Steph On The Pedal. You know, I put out Instacart videos, lots of them right now. So I would love your support.
Yes, and thank you again, Steph, for coming on the channel. Maybe hopefully we'll get to do this again after everything is going with what's going on, and hopefully see what differences have happened. And then if you still stick with Instacart or if you've kind of are floating between. But yes, thank you again for coming on and sharing your experience.
We're also doing a video over on my channel, so make sure you guys come take a look at that. So he is going to be on my channel as well.
Yes, I was gonna say that, but Steph, you beat me to it. No, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So yes, I'm gonna be on Steph's channel as well. We're gonna be talking about a couple of different things, and then yeah, like I said, head over to Steph On The Pedal. Check out what we're talking about as part 2 or part 1, depending on how we upload these, and make sure you subscribe and check out her channel as well.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thank you, Stephanie.
Cool. Bye, guys.
Thanks again, Steph, for coming on and sharing some different experiences on what's going on with you. Also, make sure to check out her channel if you haven't already. Link will be in the description. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, delivery drivers, or shoppers, and we'll see you next time.